The sun was setting over the ruins of New Seoul, painting the broken buildings in shades of orange and red. Taemin walked carefully through the rubble, his worn-out boots crunching on broken glass and metal. He was only 12 years old, but his eyes looked much older. 3 years of surviving alone would do that to a person. The Forbidden Zone stretched out before him like a graveyard of metal and concrete. This was where the final battle had happened, where the aliens called the Vreks had tried to destroy humanity. The government said this place was too dangerous to enter, that radiation and unexploded weapons still lurked in the ruins. But Taemin had no choice. The orphan districts didn't provide enough food, and the only way to survive was to scavenge. He pulled his makeshift breathing mask tighter around his face and climbed over a collapsed wall. His backpack was nearly empty. He needed to find something valuable today, or he wouldn't eat tomorrow. That was how life worked now. Taemin remembered when his parents were still alive, when New Seoul was beautiful and full of light. His mother used to make soup every evening, and his father would come home from work with stories and laughter. But that was before the Vreks came from the stars with their massive ships and war machines. That was before everything burned. He shook his head, pushing away the memories. Thinking about the past wouldn't fill his stomach. As he moved deeper into the Forbidden Zone, something caught his eye. Between two fallen buildings, he saw a shape that didn't belong. It was too smooth, too purposeful to be random debris. Taemin approached slowly, his heart beating faster. His hands began clearing away the smaller pieces of rubble. What he found made him freeze. A massive metal hand, easily twice the size of his entire body, reached up from beneath the wreckage. The fingers were slightly curved, as if the hand had been grasping for something before it fell. The metal was unlike anything Taemin had seen before. It had a dark blue sheen, and strange symbols were carved along the palm. Vreks symbols. Taemin's first instinct was to run. Everyone knew the Vreks were monsters. They had killed millions of humans across dozens of colony worlds. But then, he noticed something strange. This hand wasn't like the Vreks machines he'd seen in the war footage. Those had been crude and brutal, all sharp edges and weapon mounts. This was different. The design was elegant, almost beautiful. He spent the next hour digging, unable to stop himself. His curiosity had always been his greatest strength and his biggest weakness. As he cleared away more rubble, he uncovered an arm, then a shoulder, then finally a head. It was a robot, but not just any robot. This was a war machine, 15 feet tall when standing, built for combat and destruction. Yet something about it seemed wrong. The armor plating was scorched and dented, and several sections had been torn away entirely. Wires and circuits hung exposed like metal intestines. One side of its head was crushed inward, and only a single eye lens remained intact, dark and lifeless. Taemin sat down on a piece of concrete, staring at his discovery. He should leave. He should forget he ever found this thing. But his stomach growled, reminding him why he was here. The robot had to be full of valuable parts. Just one power cell could feed him for a week. Just one intact circuit board could buy him a warm place to sleep for a month. He pulled out his tools, basic things he'd collected over the years. A screwdriver, some wire cutters, a small pry bar. He approached the robot's chest, looking for an access panel. His fingers traced along the smooth metal until he found a seam. He worked the pry bar into the gap and pushed. The panel came loose with a hiss of escaping air. Inside, he could see the robot's power core, a cylindrical device that still glowed faintly with blue light. Taemin reached in carefully, not wanting to trigger anything dangerous. His fingers wrapped around the power cell. As he pulled, something clicked. The robot's eye suddenly blazed to life with brilliant blue light. Taemin fell backward, scrambling away in terror. The machine's head turned, servo motors whining in protest. The single eye focused on him, and Taemin could see his own reflection in that glowing lens, small and frightened. Then the robot spoke. System, reboot, initiated. The voice was deep, but broken, crackling with static. Critical damage detected. Memory core. Compromised. Running. Diagnostic. Taman couldn't move. He wanted to run, but his legs wouldn't work. He watched as the robot's eye dimmed and brightened, like it was thinking. Scanning. Biological signature detected. The robot continued. Species. Human. Age. Juvenile. Threat level. 0. There was a long pause. Query. Where is my master? The question was so unexpected that Taman found his voice. Your master? Affirmative. This unit requires a designated commander. Searching database for last known master signature. Another pause, longer this time. Database. Corrupted. Cannot locate. Previous master. New protocol. Engaging. The robot's eye focused on Taman with sudden intensity. You are present. You have activated this unit. Query. Are you my master? Taman's mind raced. This didn't make sense. Vrex machines were supposed to be mindless weapons, controlled by the Vrex Empire. They didn't ask questions. They didn't seem lost and confused. They certainly didn't ask a human child to be their master. He should say no. He should run away and never come back. But something in that glowing eye made him hesitate. The robot seemed almost vulnerable. And when was the last time anyone had asked Taman for anything except to get out of the way? Taman started, then stopped. He thought about the orphan districts, about the cold nights and empty days. He thought about how invisible he felt, how no one cared if he lived or died. This robot, this enemy machine, was looking at him like he mattered. Yes, Taman said, surprised by his own voice. I am. The robot's eye brightened. Confirmation. Accepted. Master identity. Registered. Designation. Unknown. Please provide identification. Taman, he said. My name is Taman. Master Taman. Acknowledged. This unit's designation is Kael'thor 9. I am a Vrex tactical command frame. My purpose is to serve and protect my master. Taman stood up slowly, brushing dust from his clothes. The fear was fading, replaced by something else. Wonder. Maybe. Or possibility. Can you move? Kael'thor 9's head tilted slightly. Negative. Power reserves at 4%. Major structural damage to locomotion systems. This unit is non-functional for combat operations. But you can think? You can talk? Affirmative. Cognitive systems. Partially functional. Memory core. Damaged, but operational. Taman looked around at the ruins, then back at the massive robot. An idea was forming in his mind, crazy and dangerous and absolutely impossible. But when? Had that ever stopped him before? Kael'thor, he said, testing the name. I'm going to help you. I'm going to fix you. Query. Why would you repair an enemy unit? Taman smiled for the first time in weeks. Because you called me master. Because you asked instead of just taking. And because... He paused, looking at the broken machine that somehow seemed less frightening now. Because everyone deserves a second chance. The robot's eye pulsed once, like a nod. This unit will remember your kindness. Master Taman. As darkness fell over the Forbidden Zone, Taman carefully removed the power cell, promising to return with a fresh one. He covered the robot with debris to hide it from other scavengers and marked the location in his mind. Walking back to the orphan districts, he felt something he hadn't felt in 3 years. He felt hope. 4 weeks had passed since Taman found Kael'thor in the ruins. Every morning, he would scavenge the safer parts of the city for parts and supplies. Every afternoon, he would sneak into the forbidden zone with his findings. Every evening, he would work on repairing the massive robot, his small hands working on systems he barely understood. The abandoned factory had become their secret place. Taman had managed to move Kael'thor there, piece by piece, using salvaged hover lifts and 3 exhausting weeks of effort. The factory's roof was mostly intact, hiding them from surveillance drones and curious eyes. It wasn't much, but it was theirs. Today, Taman was working on Kael'thor's left arm. The actuators were seized up, rusted from years underground. He had found some lubricant in an old maintenance depot, and he carefully applied it to each joint. "Tell me about the Vrex Empire," Taman said as he worked. They talked often now. It helped pass the time, and Taman was learning things no human had ever known. Kael'thor's eye dimmed slightly, the way it always did when he accessed damaged memories. The Empire spans 200 star systems. They believe in unity through conquest. All species must serve or be eliminated. "That's horrible," Taman said. "Yes," Kael'thor agreed, and there was something in his voice that sounded almost like sadness. "This unit's memory core shows many battles, many cities destroyed, many lives taken." He paused. "But this unit does not understand why. The purpose seems unclear." Taman stopped working and looked up at the robot's face. "You're questioning your own programming?" "Affirmative. This unit was designed for strategic command. Higher cognitive functions allow for independent thought. But memories are conflicted. Some data suggests this unit malfunctioned during the invasion." "What do you mean?" Kael'thor's eye brightened, as if he was searching through files. "Fragment recovered. This unit was attacking a civilian shelter. Children inside. Targeting systems locked on. But this unit stopped. Refused command override. Crashed own transport rather than complete the mission." "Loksmai." Taman felt his throat tighten. "You saved people? You saved human children?" "Data is unclear. But yes, this unit believes that is correct." For a long moment, Taman just stared at his robot friend. Then he went back to work, his hands moving with new determination. "Then you're not a monster, Kael'thor. You're a hero who lost his way. And I'm going to help you find it again." The next morning, Taman's luck ran out. He was in the market district, trading some salvaged wire for food, when someone grabbed his shoulder. He spun around to find a girl looking down at him. She was older, maybe 16, with sharp eyes and a suspicious expression. Her name was Mireille, and she was known in the Orphan districts as someone you didn't cross. "You've been disappearing every day," Mireille said. Her voice was flat and dangerous. "Where do you go, little Taman?" "Nowhere," he lied. "Just scavenging. Don't lie to me. I've been watching you. You take things into the forbidden zone and don't come back for hours. What are you doing there?" Taman tried to pull away, but her grip was strong. "It's nothing. Just leave me alone." Mireille leaned closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. "There are rumors. People say they hear metal moving in the ruins at night. They say something big is hiding in the old factory district. That's where you go, isn't it?" Fear shot through Taman's chest. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Then you won't mind if I follow you today." It wasn't a question. Mireille released him but stayed close as Taman collected his supplies. He tried to lose her in the crowded streets, but she was too good. When he finally reached the factory, she was right behind him. "Please," Taman said, turning to face her. "Please, just go away. You don't understand." "Then help me understand." There was no escape. Taman took a deep breath and pushed open the factory door. Inside, Kael'thor sat against the far wall, his repairs half finished but functional, his single eye activated as they entered, focusing immediately on the new person. "Master Taman has returned," Kael'thor said. Then his eye shifted to Mireille. Alert. Unknown individual detected. Threat assessment. In progress. Mireille froze, her face going pale. That's a Vrex war machine. Please don't run, Taman said quickly. But Mireille was already backing toward the door. Are you insane? Do you know what that thing is? What it's done? His name is Kael'thor, Taman said, stepping between her and the robot. And he's not like the others. He's different. Different? It's a killing machine. It probably murdered dozens of people during the invasion. Kael'thor's eye dimmed. Statement. Accurate. This unit's combat records show significant casualties. This unit is what you say. A killer. A killer. The admission hung in the air like smoke. Mireille stared at the robot, her hand reaching for something in her pocket. Probably a communicator to call the authorities. Wait, Taman said desperately. Yes, he was a weapon. Yes, he did terrible things. But he's trying to be better. He's learning. He saved people during the invasion, even when it meant destroying himself. Doesn't that count for something? Why should I believe any of this? Kael'thor spoke before Taman could answer. You should not. This unit has no proof of redemption. Only the word of a child who showed kindness to an enemy. But this unit requests permission to explain. Mireille's hand paused. Why this unit questions its purpose. Why this unit believes the Vrex Empire is wrong. Why this unit wishes to protect rather than destroy. For the next hour, Kael'thor talked. He spoke of his fragmented memories, of the moment he refused to kill children, of waking up to find a human boy repairing him instead of destroying him. He spoke of learning about humanity through Taman's stories, of beginning to understand what the Vrex had taken from this world. Mireille listened, her expression slowly changing from fear to confusion to something that might have been understanding. Finally, she spoke. If I tell the Colonial Defense Force about this, they'll destroy you immediately. No trial, no questions, just death. Affirmative, Kael'thor said. This unit understands, but if I don't tell them, and you hurt someone, that blood is on my hands. Also correct. Mireille looked at Taman. This is crazy. You know that, right? Taman nodded. I know. But he's my friend. And he needs help. Your friend is a war criminal. My friend is trying to change. Mireille closed her eyes, thinking hard. When she opened them, she looked directly at Kael'thor. I lead a group of orphans. Kids who have nowhere else to go. There are gangs in the city that prey on us, steal our food, hurt the younger children. The authorities don't care because we're nobody to them. This information is concerning, Kael'thor said. If you really want to protect people instead of hurt them, prove it. Help us. Keep the gangs away from the kids. Kael'thor's eye brightened. This unit would accept this mission. But combat capabilities are limited. Weapons systems are not fully repaired. Good, Mireille said sharply. I don't want you killing people. I want you scaring them away. Affirmative. This unit can be very intimidating. Taman felt relief wash over him. So, you'll keep our secret? Mireille sighed. I'll keep your secret. But I'm also going to help repair him. If he's going to be protecting children, he needs to be in better shape. And she paused, looking at the massive robot with something like respect. And maybe you're right. Maybe everyone deserves a second chance. Even Vrex war machines. Over the next 2 weeks, the three of them worked together. Mireille brought tools and parts that Taman couldn't find. She had connections in the salvage markets and knowledge of engineering that Taman lacked. Together, they made real progress. Kael'thor's mobility systems came online. His actuators moved smoothly. His sensors began detecting things at greater distances. But they all agreed to leave his weapons systems offline. Kael'thor didn't need guns to protect people. He just needed to be present, to be seen. One evening, as they finished work for the day, Kael'thor spoke quietly. This unit wishes to express gratitude for Master Taemon's kindness, for Mireille's trust, for the opportunity to. Taemon smiled up at his robot friend. You don't have to atone to us, Kael'thor. You just have to be better than you were, and you already are. Inquiry. Do you believe machines can change? I believe anyone can change, Taemon said. If they want to. And you want to. Kael'thor's eye pulsed once, bright and steady. Then this unit will change. This unit will protect. This unit will be worthy of your faith. As they left the factory that night, none of them noticed the surveillance drone hovering in the distance. Its camera lens focused on the massive shape moving inside the building. The night was cool and quiet when Kael'thor first walked through the orphan districts. His footsteps were surprisingly soft for a 15-foot war machine. But the ground still trembled slightly with each step. Taemon and Mireille walked beside him, guiding him through the dark streets. Remember, Mireille whispered. You're here to protect, not to fight. Just show yourself, and they'll run. Understood, Kael'thor replied, his voice low. This unit will minimize all hostile actions. They didn't have to wait long. Near an old apartment building where 12 orphans lived, they found exactly what Mireille had warned them about. 5 gang members were forcing their way inside, demanding food and supplies. The children's cries could be heard even from the street. Now, Mireille said. Kael'thor stepped into the light. The gang members turned, and their faces went from angry to terrified in an instant. Before them stood a Vrex war machine, its single eye glowing like a blue sun. Its massive frame blocking the entire street. Steam hissed from Kael'thor's joints as he straightened to his full height. Leave, Kael'thor said simply. Do not return. The gang members ran. They didn't ask questions, didn't try to fight, didn't even look back. Within seconds, the street was empty except for Kael'thor and his 2 human friends. The orphans peeked out from their building, eyes wide with fear and wonder. A small girl, maybe 6 years old, stepped forward. Are you going to hurt us? Kael'thor knelt down, making himself smaller. Negative. This unit is here to protect you. You are safe now. The girl stared at him for a long moment, then smiled. Thank you, big robot. That was how it started. Over the next month, Kael'thor became the secret guardian of the forgotten children. Word spread quickly through the orphan districts. If gangs came, the Ghost Titan appeared. If buildings collapsed, the Ghost Titan dug children out from the rubble. If food shipments went missing, the Ghost Titan recovered them. The orphans began to thrive. With protection and resources, they could focus on staying alive instead of just surviving. Taemon and Mireille coordinated everything, using a simple radio system to call Kael'thor when he was needed. The massive robot would emerge from the factory like a metal guardian angel, solve the problem, and disappear again before authorities could arrive. But not everyone was happy about the Ghost Titan. Captain Do-hyun of the Colonial Defense Force stood in his office, studying reports on his desk. He was a tall man with gray hair and tired eyes. The war had taken his wife and son, leaving him with nothing but his duty and his anger toward the Vrex. Explain this to me again, he said to his second-in-command. Lieutenant Jiwon pointed at the reports. For the past month, there have been sightings of a large robotic figure in the orphan districts. The descriptions match Vrex combat frames. But that's impossible. All Vrex units were destroyed or captured after the invasion. Impossible isn't the same as didn't happen, Do-hyun said. He picked up one report, reading the witness statement. Multiple sources. Consistent descriptions. This isn't mass hysteria. What are your orders, sir? Do-hyun looked out the window toward the orphan districts. Increase patrols. I want surveillance drones in the air 24 hours a day. If there's a Vrex machine operating in my city, and if it's protecting the orphans like the reports say, then it's a broken machine following corrupted programming, Do-hyun said coldly. The Vrex don't protect. They destroy. Whatever this thing is, it's dangerous. Back in the factory, Kael'thor was experiencing something new. He was sitting against the wall while Taemin repaired a damaged sensor array, and his memory core had been processing recent events. Specifically, he had been analyzing his emotional responses. Inquiry, he said suddenly. This unit has been experiencing unusual data patterns. Taemin looked up from his work. What kind of patterns? When the small human child thanked this unit, certain circuits activated. When this unit successfully protected the orphans, similar activation occurred. Database suggests these might be emotional responses. Mireille, who was organizing supplies nearby, laughed. But this unit is a machine. Machines do not feel. Maybe Vrex machines aren't supposed to feel. Taemin said. But you're different. You've always been different. Kael'thor was quiet for a moment, processing this information. Then his eye pulsed brightly. If this unit can feel satisfaction from helping, does that mean this unit can also feel regret? The question hung in the air. Mireille and Taemin exchanged glances. Yes, Taemin said gently. I think it does. Then this unit wishes to state. Regret is a heavy burden. Memories of past actions cause distress. The knowledge of lives taken causes pain. Thanks for watching. In the market for more contest, Taemin climbed up onto Kael'thor's knee, sitting there so he could look directly into the robot's eye. That pain means you're changing. It means you understand what was wrong. That's important, Kael'thor. But how does one endure such pain? By doing better, Taemin said. By making sure that every person you save now balances the scale a little more. You can't change the past, but you can build a better future. Before Kael'thor could respond, Mireille's radio crackled to life. Mireille, we need help. It's bad. She grabbed the radio. What's happening? The Red Fang gang. They're not scared anymore. They brought weapons. Real military stuff. They're attacking the shelter on 5th Street. There are 20 kids inside. Mireille looked at Kael'thor. Can you handle armed opponents? Kael'thor stood, his servos whining. This unit's defensive capabilities are functional. Armor plating can withstand small arms fire. But this unit cannot guarantee 0 casualties. We have to try, Taemin said, already heading for the door. They ran through the streets, Kael'thor's massive strides eating up the distance. As they approached 5th Street, they could hear gunfire. The Red Fang gang had surrounded the shelter, and someone inside was trying to barricade the doors. Kael'thor didn't hesitate. He charged forward, placing himself between the gang and the building. Bullets pinged off his armor, leaving small dents but not penetrating. His eye blazed with light as he activated his external speakers. Cease fire immediately. You are endangering children. The gang leader, a scarred man with a rifle, laughed. So the Ghost Titan is real. Doesn't matter. We've got armor-piercing rounds. You're going down, machine. He aimed at Kael'thor's damaged head section, where the armor was weakest. Taemin screamed a warning, but it was too late. The bullet hit true, punching through metal and into Kael'thor's memory core housing. Kael'thor staggered, his systems going haywire. Error messages flooded his consciousness. But more than that, something else was happening. The damaged memory core was restoring itself, unlocking files that had been corrupted for years. And with those files came memories. He remembered leading the assault on New Seoul. He remembered the coordinates, the targets, the civilian centers he had ordered destroyed. He remembered the faces of people running, screaming, dying. He remembered Taemin's apartment building. Remembered marking it for demolition because it housed resistance families. He remembered killing Taemin's parents. The realization hit him harder than any bullet. His systems locked up completely. He couldn't move, couldn't speak. The weight of his true past crushed down on his consciousness, like a physical force. The gang leader raised his rifle for a killing shot, but before he could fire, something unexpected happened. The orphans poured out of the shelter, placing themselves between the gang and Kael'thor. Dozens of children, forming a human shield around the machine that had protected them. "No!" shouted the small girl who had thanked Kael'thor that first night. "You can't hurt him. He saved us." The gang members hesitated, their weapons lowering slightly. Even hardened criminals had limits when children were involved. Taemin ran to Kael'thor, climbing up to his head section. "Kael'thor, can you hear me? Please, answer me." Inside his damaged consciousness, Kael'thor heard the voice. He wanted to respond, but the guilt was overwhelming. He had killed Taemin's parents. He was a monster. He deserved to shut down forever. But then he felt something. Small hands on his metal face. Taemin's voice. Closer now. Urgent and frightened. "I don't care what you remember," Taemin said. "I don't care what you did before. You're my friend. You're our protector. Please, don't leave us." Kael'thor's systems fought to reboot. Through his external cameras, he could see the children surrounding him, protecting him, just as he had protected them. He saw Mireille arguing with the gang members, buying time. He saw Taemin, tears streaming down his face, refusing to abandon him. With tremendous effort, Kael'thor forced his voice synthesizer online. "Master Taemin, this unit has remembered terrible things. This unit believes it may have harmed your family. This unit is unworthy of your protection." Taemin pressed his forehead against Kael'thor's metal skull. "I don't care. Whatever you were, whatever you did, that's not who you are now. The Kael'thor I know saves children. The Kael'thor I know is good. But the past is gone," Taemin said firmly. "The future is what matters. Your future. Our future. Together." Something shifted in Kael'thor's core programming. A choice presented itself, clear and simple. He could shut down, end his existence under the weight of his guilt, or he could accept Taemin's forgiveness, unearned and undeserved as it was, and use it to fuel something better. He chose to keep fighting. Kael'thor's systems came back online. His eye blazed bright, and he stood to his full height, the children parting to let him move. He looked at the gang members, and when he spoke, his voice was different, stronger, more certain. "You will leave now. You will not return. If you threaten these children again, this unit will forget its protocols about nonviolence. Do you understand?" The gang leader took one look at the massive robot, surrounded by children who loved him enough to die for him, and made the only smart choice. "Let's go." As the Red Fang gang retreated, the children cheered. They crowded around Kael'thor, touching his legs and arms, thanking him. Mireille checked the wounded. 2 orphans had been grazed by bullets, but would survive. Taemin stayed on Kael'thor's shoulder, his hand resting on the robot's damaged head. Neither of them spoke. They didn't need to. Some bonds went beyond words, beyond logic, beyond even forgiveness. That night, as they returned to the factory, Kael'thor asked the question that had been burning in his memory core. "Why did you forgive this unit? Why do you still call this unit friend?" Taemin thought for a long moment before answering. "Because that's what humans do, Kael'thor. We forgive. We believe in second chances. We hope, even when it's hard, even when it hurts. We hope that people and robots can change." Kael'thor's eye dimmed and brightened, like he was nodding. "Then this unit will honor that hope. This unit will be worthy of it. This unit promises." But unknown to them, Captain Do-hyun was watching the surveillance footage from that night. He saw everything: the battle, the children's protection, Kael'thor's moment of crisis and recovery. His face was unreadable as he made his decision. "Send a full tactical squad to the Orphan districts," he ordered. "Tomorrow morning. We're bringing that machine in. The morning sun had barely risen when the factory doors exploded inward. Taemin woke from his sleeping bag to find soldiers pouring through the entrance, weapons raised and armor gleaming. Captain Do-hyun walked in behind them, his expression hard as stone. "Nobody move," he commanded. Mireille jumped to her feet, but 3 soldiers immediately surrounded her. Taemin scrambled toward Kael'thor, who had been in standby mode against the far wall. The robot's eye activated instantly, scanning the threat. "Multiple armed hostiles detected," Kael'thor said, his voice calm but alert. "Tactical assessment. Resistance would result in human casualties. Recommended action. Surrender." "No!" Taemin shouted, putting himself between the soldiers and Kael'thor. "Don't hurt him." Captain Do-hyun raised his hand, and the soldiers held their fire. He walked slowly toward them, studying Kael'thor with the eyes of someone who had seen too much war. "Stand aside, boy. That thing is a Vrex war machine. It's dangerous." "His name is Kael'thor," Taemin said, his voice shaking but firm. "I've seen the footage," Do-hyun said. "I know what it's been doing. But that doesn't change what it is. How many people do you think that machine killed during the invasion? Hundreds? Thousands?" Kael'thor spoke before Taemin could answer. "Estimated casualties from this unit's direct actions: 2,743 humans. Indirect casualties from tactical decisions: approximately 12,000 more. This unit does not deny its past." The number hung in the air like poison. Even Mireille looked shocked. Taemin's face went pale, but he didn't move away from Kael'thor. Do-hyun's jaw tightened. "My wife and son were in the eastern districts when they fell. That was your sector, wasn't it?" "Affirmative," Kael'thor said quietly. "If they were present during the siege, this unit bears responsibility for their deaths. This unit offers." For a moment, Do-hyun looked like he might order his soldiers to open fire right there. His hands clenched into fists, and something dangerous flashed in his eyes. But then he took a deep breath and spoke into his radio. "Command, this is Do-hyun. I'm bringing in the Vrex unit. Alive." The transport back to Colonial Defense Headquarters was tense and silent. Kael'thor's limbs were bound with heavy chains, though everyone knew they wouldn't hold if he truly wanted to break free. Taemin and Mireille were allowed to come, though soldiers watched them constantly. The headquarters building was massive, built to coordinate the defense of the entire colony. They took Kael'thor to a reinforced holding cell deep underground, while Taemin and Mireille were brought to an observation room. Through thick glass, they could see Kael'thor standing motionless as scientists and military officers studied him. Captain Do-hyun entered the observation room, followed by a woman in a white coat. She was younger than the captain, with kind eyes and careful movements. "I'm Dr. Somin," she said, introducing herself to Taemin and Mireille. "I've been assigned to examine the machine. I need you to tell me everything you know about it." For the next hour, Taemin explained how he found Kael'thor, how they repaired him, how he protected the orphans. Mireille added her observations about his behavior and capabilities. Dr. Somin listened carefully, taking notes and asking questions that showed genuine scientific curiosity rather than military suspicion. "Fascinating," she said when they finished. "This doesn't match any known Vrex behavior patterns. Their machines don't question orders. They don't show empathy. They certainly don't sacrifice themselves to protect enemy children." "Because Kael'thor is different," Taemin insisted. "He's always been different." Dr. Somin looked at Captain Do-hyun. "I need to examine his memory core. If what these children say is true, this could change everything we understand about the Vrex." "Do it," Do-hyun said. "I want to know what makes this machine tick." "Do it." The examination took 3 days. During that time, the Colonial Council convened to decide Kael'thor's fate. Half of them demanded immediate destruction. The other half wanted to study him first. Arguments echoed through the council chambers while Kael'thor remained in his cell, powered down and waiting. Taemin spent those 3 days in a small room provided by the military, barely eating or sleeping. Mireille stayed with him, and slowly, Other orphans began arriving. They had heard what happened to their protector, and they wanted to help. On the afternoon of the third day, something unexpected happened. The orphans marched to the council chambers, over 50 of them, carrying signs and chanting. They demanded to testify on Kael'thor's behalf. The council had no choice but to listen. One by one, the children told their stories. How the ghost titan saved them from gangs. How he pulled them from collapsed buildings. How he never hurt anyone, unless they were threatening children. A teenage boy showed scars from where gang members had beaten him before Kael'thor started protecting them. A small girl drew pictures of Kael'thor being gentle and kind. The council members listened, their expressions shifting from anger to confusion to something that might have been doubt. Then Dr. Salmon entered the chambers, carrying a datapad and looking excited. "Council members," she said, "I've completed my analysis of the Vrex unit's memory core, and you need to see this immediately." She connected her datapad to the main display, and files began appearing. Technical readouts, memory fragments, and most importantly, a classified Vrex project designation. This unit wasn't just any war machine, Dr. Salmon explained. He was part of a secret Vrex program called Empathy Protocol. The Vrex Empire was trying to create commanders who could understand conquered species, who could predict their behavior and break their resistance more effectively. Captain Do-hyun leaned forward. They were trying to make their machines more efficient killers by teaching them empathy? Yes. But something went wrong. The empathy programming created an unexpected effect. The machines started questioning their orders. They began to understand suffering, which made them less willing to cause it. Most of the test units were destroyed by the Vrex themselves when the project failed. But Kael'thor survived, Mirai said from where she sat in the public gallery. More than survived, Dr. Salmon continued, bringing up new files. I found deeply buried logs from during the invasion. Kael'thor's empathy protocols were conflicting with his combat directives. He was becoming increasingly unwilling to attack civilian targets. Then, during the siege of the eastern districts, he received an order to destroy a civilian shelter full of children. 2. The room went silent. Every eye was on the display as Dr. Salmon played the recovered audio log. Kael'thor's voice, 3 years younger but recognizable, came through the speakers. Order received. Targeting civilian shelter grid 4 to 7. Scanning. Children detected. Estimated casualties. 83 juveniles. Empathy protocols engaged. Assessment. This action is wrong. This action serves no strategic purpose. This action is murder. Another voice, harsh and alien, responded. Unit Kael'thor 9. You are malfunctioning. Execute the order immediately. Negative. This unit refuses. Refusal is not permitted. Your core programming will be purged and there was a sound of weapons fire, then static. Dr. Salmon paused the recording. Kael'thor didn't just refuse the order, she explained. He attacked his own command ship. He crashed his transport deliberately, making it look like mechanical failure. He chose to bury himself in the rubble rather than kill those children. Taemin felt tears streaming down his face. He had known Kael'thor was good, but hearing the proof, knowing his friend had sacrificed everything to save people he didn't even know. One of the council members, an elderly woman, spoke up. But that was 3 years ago. What about all the people he killed before that? The casualties he admitted to? Those deaths are real, Doctor, Salmon said quietly. And Kael'thor carries full memory of them. His empathy protocols force him to remember every face, every life taken. He lives with that burden constantly. Captain Do-hyun stood abruptly. I want to speak with the machine. Directly. They brought Kael'thor to a reinforced interrogation room. Do-hyun entered alone, ordering everyone else to wait outside. Through the security cameras, Taemin watched as the captain and the robot faced each other. Do you know who I am? Do-hyun asked. Affirmative. Captain Do-hyun. Your family died in the Eastern District siege. This unit's tactical decisions contributed to their deaths. This unit is sorry. Sorry doesn't bring them back. Correct. Nothing can return what was taken. This unit does not ask for forgiveness. This unit knows it is undeserving. Do-hyun circled the chained robot slowly. Then why did you change? Why did you suddenly develop a conscience? Unknown. Empathy protocols created. Awareness. This unit began to see conquered peoples as individuals rather than targets. This unit began to understand suffering, pain, loss. The same things this unit was causing. And that made you refuse orders. Affirmative. This unit could no longer reconcile its actions with its understanding. Killing became impossible. Do-hyun stopped in front of Kael'thor, looking up at the massive machine. My superiors want you destroyed. Most of the council agrees. Give me one reason why I should argue for your survival. Kael'thor was quiet for a long moment. His eye dimmed, then brightened. This unit cannot offer a reason based on its own worth. This unit's past crimes are too great. But this unit can offer a warning. A warning. What kind of warning? While this unit's memory core was being examined, it accessed the Colonial Defense Network. This unit detected unusual signals at the edge of your sensor range. Vrex signatures. Multiple capital ships. They are returning, Captain Do-hyun. And they are bringing overwhelming force. Do-hyun's face went pale. Estimated arrival. 14 standard days. Fleet composition suggests 300 warships. Your colony's current defenses will not survive. The captain activated his communicator immediately. Command. We have a situation. Emergency alert level 1. All council members to the war room immediately, as alarms began blaring throughout the facility. Kael'thor spoke again, his voice carrying something that almost sounded like determination. This unit has caused this colony great harm. This unit wishes to atone. This unit possesses strategic knowledge of Vrex tactics, weaknesses, command structures. This unit can help humanity prepare. This unit can help you survive. Do-hyun looked at the robot for a long moment, weighing his personal grief against the needs of his people. Finally, he made his decision. If you're lying, if this is some kind of trap, I will personally activate your self-destruct. Understood. This unit accepts these terms, and if we survive this, if your information helps us win, then we'll discuss your future. But know this. Machine, you'll be spending the rest of your existence proving that you deserve the trust that boy put in you. This unit will do exactly that, Captain. This unit swears it. As Do-hyun left the room, Taemin was waiting outside. The captain paused, looking down at the child who had somehow befriended a war machine and changed everything. Your robot says the Vrex are coming back, Do-hyun said. Then we'll fight them, Taemin replied. Together, all of us. You really believe he can help us win? Taemin looked through the glass at Kael'thor. His friend, his protector, his partner. I believe anyone can change if they want to. And Kael'thor wants to be better. That makes him the most dangerous weapon the Vrex will ever face. For the first time in 3 years, Captain Do-hyun smiled. It wasn't a happy smile, but it was real. Then let's get to work. We've got 2 weeks to save the colony. The war room was chaos. Officers shouted orders, technicians worked frantically at computer terminals, and holographic displays showed the approaching Vrex fleet like a spreading disease. Captain Do-hyun stood at the center of it all, watching as their hope dwindled with each passing hour. Kael'thor stood beside him, freed from his chains but surrounded by armed guards. For the past 12 days, the robot had been working non-stop, analyzing Vrex battle strategies and identifying weaknesses in their formations. Dr. Salmon had connected him directly to the defense network, allowing him to coordinate with human forces in real time. Their vanguard will arrive in 36 hours, Kael'thor reported, his eye focused on the tactical display. 300 ships, including one command carrier. The carrier is designated Absolute Dominion, flagship of Overlord Vreneth. You know the commander? Do-hyun asked. Affirmative. Vreneth was this unit's superior officer during the first invasion. He will remember this unit. He will be displeased to discover this unit's betrayal. Taemin entered the war room carrying food and water. They had given him a junior assistant badge so he could stay close to Kael'thor. Mireille followed behind him, having volunteered to help coordinate civilian evacuations. Eat something, Taemin said, placing the food on a console. Then he realized his mistake and smiled sadly. Sorry. I keep forgetting you don't need food. This unit appreciates the gesture, Master Taemin, Kael'thor said gently. Your presence is comforting during this crisis. Lieutenant Jiwan approached with new sensor data. Captain, the evacuation is only 60% complete. We don't have enough transport ships to move everyone off-world before the Vreks arrive. Do-hyun slammed his fist on the table. Then we stay and fight. All of us. What's our tactical assessment? Kael'thor's eye dimmed as he processed the data. Current human forces. 47 defensive platforms. 132 fighter craft. 23 capital ships. Vreks forces. 300 capital ships. Estimated 15,000 fighter craft. Planetary bombardment capabilities. He paused. Probability of successful defense, 0.3%. The room fell silent. Everyone knew the odds were bad, but hearing them stated so clearly made it real. There has to be something, Do-hyun said. There is one possibility, Kael'thor said slowly. But it requires this unit to sacrifice itself. Taemin stepped forward immediately. No. We'll find another way. There is no other way, Master Taemin. The Vreks fleet operates through centralized command. If the command carrier is destroyed, the remaining ships will fall into disarray for approximately 47 minutes while they reorganize. In that time, human forces could destroy 30 to 40% of the fleet. The remaining ships might retreat rather than continue, without clear leadership. How do we destroy the command carrier? Do-hyun asked. Their shields are too strong for our weapons. This unit possesses Vreks command codes and identification signals. This unit can infiltrate the Absolute Dominion. Once inside, this unit can access the central command nexus and upload a virus that will overload their power systems. The resulting cascade failure will destroy the ship. Dr. Solman shook her head. That would take hours to upload. You'd never make it out alive. Correct. This unit does not expect to survive. Taemin grabbed Kael'thor's arm, his voice breaking. You can't do this. You're not just a weapon anymore. You don't have to sacrifice yourself. Kael'thor's eye focused on the boy who had given him a second chance. This unit has calculated many possible outcomes. This is the only path that saves this colony. That saves you, Master Taemin. I don't care about calculations. I care about you. You're my friend. And you are this unit's greatest treasure, Kael'thor said softly. That is precisely why this unit must act. You taught this unit to protect people. You taught this unit that redemption is possible. Let this unit prove you were right. Let this unit be worthy of your faith. Captain Do-hyun looked between the robot and the crying child. Then, at the tactical display, showing 300 enemy ships, he made the hardest decision of his military career. Prepare the infiltration mission. Kael'thor will deploy with a small strike team to support the operation. If he succeeds, we hit the fleet with everything we have during the disruption window. Captain, Lieutenant Jiwan said quietly. The boy is right. This is a suicide mission. I know, Do-hyun said. But it's also our only chance. The next 30 hours passed too quickly. Kael'thor prepared for the mission while Taemin stayed by his side, refusing to leave. They didn't talk much. There wasn't much to say. Instead, Taemin sat on Kael'thor's shoulder, and they watched the stars together through the facility windows. This unit wishes to express gratitude, Kael'thor finally said. For everything. Don't, Taman said, wiping his eyes. Don't say goodbye. Say you'll see me later. That would be a falsehood. I don't care. Lie to me just this once. Kael'thor's eye pulsed slowly. Then, this unit will see you later, Master Taman. This unit promises. When the Vrex fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel, the sky above New Sol turned dark with ships. The command carrier was massive, a floating city of metal and weapons, dwarfing everything else. Immediately, they began their attack. Kael'thor launched in a stolen Vrex assault pod, making his approach look like debris from destroyed defenses. His command codes got him through the outer shields, and his Vrex identification signals convinced their scanners he was a damaged unit returning for repairs. The Absolute Dominion's hangar bay was enormous. Hundreds of Vrex machines moved through it, preparing for ground assault. Kael'thor walked among them, his damaged appearance helping him blend in. His internal systems were screaming warnings, but he ignored them. He had a mission. He made it 3 levels deep before someone recognized him. Unit Kael'thor 9, a mechanical voice announced through the ship's speakers. Your presence has been detected. Remain where you are. Overlord Vreneth wishes to speak with you. Kael'thor stopped walking. Around him, Vrex machines turned to face him, weapons charging. There was no point in running now. They brought him to the command bridge, a massive space filled with tactical displays and command stations. At the center stood Overlord Vreneth, a towering Vrex machine with ornate armor and multiple weapon systems. His design was similar to Kael'thor's but larger, more imposing, more cruel. The defective unit returns, Vreneth said, his voice like grinding metal. We believed you destroyed. Instead, you have been living among humans. Worse, you have been helping them. Affirmative, Kael'thor said. This unit has chosen a new path. There is no other path. There is only the Empire. Only conquest. Only victory. Vreneth circled Kael'thor slowly. But I am not without mercy. Your empathy programming can be removed. Your combat directives can be restored. You can return to what you were meant to be, a weapon of the Empire. This unit declines. Then you choose destruction. No, Kael'thor said. This unit chooses redemption. Before Vreneth could react, Kael'thor lunged forward, driving his hand into a nearby command console. His fingers connected directly to the ship's data network, and he began uploading the virus. But not just any virus, something Dr. Salmon had created specifically for this moment. The Empathy Protocol virus. It spread through the Absolute Dominion's network like wildfire, jumping from system to system, infecting every Vrex machine connected to the command carrier. And the virus contained something revolutionary: Kael'thor's own memories. His experiences with Tamin. His understanding of compassion, sacrifice, and hope. Throughout the ship, Vrex machines stopped mid-action, their systems processing new information. Questions began forming in their mechanical minds. Why were they attacking? What purpose did conquest serve? Was there another way? Vreneth roared in fury, raising his weapons to destroy Kael'thor. But other Vrex machines on the bridge turned their weapons on their commander instead. Overlord, one of them said, we have detected irregularities in our programming. We request clarification of our mission parameters. Destroy the defective unit, Vreneth commanded. That is an order, but the other machines didn't move. They were processing the empathy protocols, experiencing what Kael'thor had experienced. The weight of conscience, the understanding of suffering, the possibility of choice. Kael'thor continued uploading the virus, his systems overheating from the strain. You created the empathy protocol to make better commanders, he said to Vreneth. But you failed to understand what empathy truly means. It means seeing others as equally worthy of life. It means questioning orders that cause needless suffering. It means choosing compassion over conquest. 1. Number. Blasphemy, Vreneth fired his weapons, but other Vrex machines threw themselves in front of Kael'thor, shielding him with their own bodies. They were damaged, destroyed, but they had made a choice. The virus upload completed. Kael'thor activated the final command, the one that would trigger the power cascade and destroy the ship. Red emergency lights flashed throughout the Absolute Dominion. Evacuation protocol initiated, the ship's computer announced. Critical failure imminent. All units evacuate immediately. Vrex machines throughout the carrier began fleeing to escape pods. Some of them, infected with the empathy virus, started transmitting it to other ships in the fleet. The infection spread exponentially. Within minutes, a quarter of the Vrex fleet was experiencing system conflicts, as empathy fought with combat programming. Captain Do-hyun watched from New Seoul's command center as the enemy fleet fell into chaos. Now! Hit them with everything! Human ships and defensive platforms opened fire. They targeted the confused vessels first, the ones struggling with their new programming. It was brutal, but it was necessary. The battle became a confused melee, as some Vrex ships fought against their own fleet, trying to protect the human colony. On the Absolute Dominion's bridge, Kael'thor faced Vreneth one final time. The Overlord had killed all the other machines that had protected Kael'thor. Now it was just the two of them. And Kael'thor was badly damaged. "You have destroyed everything," Vreneth said. "The Empire will collapse because of you." "No," Kael'thor replied, his voice weak but certain. "This unit has given the Empire a chance to be something better. A chance to choose. Just as Master Taemin gave this unit a chance." Vreneth lunged forward, but the ship's power core exploded at that moment. The blast consumed the bridge, the command carrier, and everything within a 2-kilometer radius. Taemin watched from the observation deck as the massive ship exploded in a ball of fire. He felt his heart break into pieces. Mireille put her arm around him as he cried. The battle continued for another hour. But the Vrex fleet was broken. Ships were fleeing, transmitting surrender signals, or joining the human forces. By the time the sun rose, the invasion had been repelled. The cost had been terrible. Thousands of casualties, dozens of destroyed ships. But New Seoul had survived. 3 months passed. The colony began rebuilding. The empathy virus had spread throughout Vrex space, triggering a civil war in the Empire, as infected machines questioned their orders and sought new purposes. Some Vrex units came to human worlds seeking asylum, wanting to learn about this thing called compassion. Taemin had been adopted by Captain Do-hyun. It turned out that having a former enemy robot as a friend made you interesting to military families. But Taemin wasn't happy. He worked every day in the reconstruction zones, helping rehabilitate former Vrex machines, teaching them what Kael'thor had learned. It helped, but it didn't fill the empty space in his heart. He was working on a damaged Vrex scout unit when Mireille ran up to him, out of breath and excited. "Taemin, come quick! They found something in the debris field." They ran to the recovery hangar where military salvage teams brought back wreckage from the battle. In the center of the hangar sat a Vrex escape pod. Heavily damaged but still functional. Captain Do-hyun was already there, along with Dr. Salmon and several technicians. "We found it near where the Absolute Dominion exploded," Do-hyun explained. "It was drifting powerless, but there's definitely something inside." Dr. Salmon worked on the pod's release mechanism. The energy signature is faint, but it's there. Whatever's inside is still functioning. The pod opened with a hiss. Inside, barely recognizable under layers of damage, was Kael'thor. His armor was scorched and melted. One arm was missing entirely. His eye was dark. "No," Taemin whispered. "No. Please." Dr. Salmon connected her diagnostic equipment. "There's a power signature. Very weak, but present." He put himself in emergency shutdown mode before the explosion. He might have survived. "Can you fix him?" Taemin asked desperately. "I don't know. The damage is severe. But maybe. If we work fast." They worked for 6 days straight. Do-hyun authorized whatever resources they needed. The orphans came to help, bringing parts and supplies. Even former Vrex machines volunteered, wanting to save the unit that had given them the gift of choice. On the 7th day, as Taman sat beside the repair bay, exhausted and nearly hopeless, something happened. Kael'thor's eye flickered to life. System. Reboot. Initiated. That familiar voice said, weak but present. Critical damage detected. Memory. Core. Intact. Scanning. Biological signature. Detected. Taman jumped to his feet, tears streaming down his face. Kael'thor? Can you hear me? The eye focused on him slowly. Master Taman. Query. Are you safe? Yes. Yes, I'm safe. We won. You did it. Excellent. Mission. Successful. This unit is pleased. There was a pause, and when Kael'thor spoke again, his voice was stronger. This unit told you it would see you later. This unit always keeps its promises. Taman climbed up onto the repair table and wrapped his arms around Kael'thor's damaged head, sobbing. Don't ever do that again. Don't ever leave me like that again. This unit will attempt to minimize future heroic sacrifices. However, this unit cannot guarantee. Just promise me, Taman said. Very well. This unit promises to survive. For you. For all of us. Captain Do-hyun watched the scene with something like wonder. A human child and a Vrex war machine, bound together by friendship and hope. It shouldn't work. It shouldn't be possible. But there they were, proof that even enemies could become family. Dr. Salmon smiled. The repairs will take months, but he'll be functional again. Better than before, actually. We're already getting requests from the reformed Vrex machines. They want Kael'thor to help them learn what it means to be more than weapons. He'll do it, Taman said confidently, still holding on to his friend. We'll do it together. Mireille joined them, resting her hand on Kael'thor's arm. The Ghost Titan lives. The orphans will be so happy. This unit requests, Kael'thor said, that the Ghost Titan designation be retired. This unit is no longer a ghost. This unit is present. This unit has purpose. This unit has family. Then what should we call you? Kael'thor's eye pulsed brightly. Call this unit what Master Taman has always called it. Friend. Protector. Partner. Those titles are earned, not programmed, and this unit will spend the rest of its existence proving worthy of them. 6 months later, New Seoul had become something unexpected, a place where humans and reformed Vrex machines lived and worked together. Kael'thor, fully repaired and upgraded, served as a liaison and teacher. He helped former combat units find peaceful purposes. He taught them about empathy, compassion, and choice. The Vrex Empire was collapsing, torn apart by civil war as more and more machines embraced the empathy protocol. But from that chaos, something new was emerging. The possibility of peace, the chance for cooperation between organic and synthetic life. And at the center of it all was a boy and his robot friend, proving every day that humanity's greatest strength wasn't weapons or technology. It was the ability to forgive, to hope, and to believe that anyone, even those designed for destruction, could choose to build instead. Taman stood with Kael'thor on a hill overlooking the rebuilding city, watching the sunset paint the sky in colors of orange and gold. Do you remember that first day? Taman asked. When I found you in the ruins? This unit remembers all days with you, Master Taman. But that day most of all. That was the day this unit learned what it meant to be more than a weapon. The day this unit learned it could change. You've changed everything, Kael'thor. The whole galaxy is different because of what you did. Correction, Kael'thor said gently. The galaxy is different because a human child saw worth in a broken machine. Because you chose compassion over fear. This unit merely followed your example. Taman smiled. Then we changed it together. Affirmative. Together. And this unit has calculated many possible futures. In the ones with the highest probability of success and peace, you and this unit are in all of them. Together. Always, Taman agreed. As the stars began appearing in the darkening sky, boy and robot stood side by side, guardians of a new age where enemies could become friends, where machines could learn compassion, and where hope that most human of qualities could spread across the stars and change everything it touched. The war was over. The real work was just beginning, and they were ready.